What is up? What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing? Check this out, man. Hey, we was at my man channel, man. Shout out to Jess. You gotta learn to agree to disagree. But he was trying to insinuate. That the reason why the lawyer stepped down is because he filed some papers on Puffy's behalf about playing a race card or something, and I don't think that's what happened. I think that, to be honest, I think that the black, for lack of a better word, the black lawyer stepped down because he probably was against trying to play the race card. I think a lot of things that he's been trying to do, they never try to do things his way. He wasn't the lead person on the case, and he was trying to do the best he can and go different routes, so to speak, and they didn't want to go his way. So I think Puffy preferred to try to lie, cheat, and steal his way out of this. And my man know that ain't gonna happen. Not with the feds, baby. Not with the feds. They got too much info. So y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, man. Just on fire. Hey, Diddy defense employs 1 week before employs 1 week before trial starts. Now he's claiming insanity. Man, let's see what my man got to say, man. Hey, y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Today is Uncle Mike's birthday, y'all. Shout out to everybody that said happy birthday to Uncle Mike, man. Thank y'all so much. Shout out to y'all, man. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check it out.
Hey, man, listen. My deeply diminished cognitive issues are because I took so much MDMA and so much Viagra and so much of that pink, and I drank so much alcohol that you can't hold me accountable for anything that I did. You saw a 13-year-old? I didn't know she's 13. Did you hear how much of that stuff that I had put up my nose? Yeah. How am I supposed to know how old she is if I'm doing that pink blow? So the Diddy trial starts in 1 week. 1 week until this guy's trial starts, and he is on trial for his life. Make no mistake about it, okay? This guy faces a trial that could send him to prison for life, okay? That was me attempting to highlight that while I said it. All right. Now, we have a bunch of information that is coming out now as we're leading up to the beginning of the trial, and I'm going to cover that stuff going into it. And obviously, every single time that the court closes, when there's a new witness, when there's whatever, I'm going to be covering it on this channel. You can rest assured that that is going to happen. Now, I wanted to show people a couple stories having to do with the jury selection, and then also a no argument that Diddy is making that is, in my opinion, absolutely ludicrous. But this is the kind of thing that is going to affect how this trial ends up, what the verdict is, what the sentence is, so on, so forth, etc. So I want to show you what the stories we're going to cover, and then I'm going to start with a point that will shed light on how to think about a lot of this stuff when you're trying to predict what's going to happen. Okay, so first of all, so Diddy is now trying to claim diminished mental capacity during his sex trafficking trial, and this is having to do with his diminished capacity to think because of drug and alcohol abuse, okay? Now, we'll get into the details of exactly how he is trying to apply that argument, but if anybody else thinks that that's a reasonable position to take, self-induced reduction in mental capacity because you were taking so many drugs and drinking so much booze, that's a tough sell for me. You know what I mean? But we'll get into exactly what he is arguing. And again, he is potentially going to prison for life. All right. Now, we're also going to talk about this, which is another massive deal when it comes to the outcome of a trial, which is jury selection. And we heard some of the questions that the prosecution is looking to ask the potential jurors, having to do with what television shows that they watch. We talked about it on my live stream. We'll talk about it again. And now some of the questions that Diddy is planning to have his defense team ask the jury pool are also coming out, and it is these are unbelievable. Hey, what do you think about group sex? Any of you guys think that? I mean, they're just going to make them feel incredibly uncomfortable and try to figure out what people's opinions are going to be without having, knowing anything about the real details of the case. I cannot wait to find out what they are actually going to what are these other witnesses going to say? Now, we're going to get into all of that right now, but I wanted to say real quick, if you're new to the channel, this is a very engaged audience, and I am a very engaged creator. So please comment your thoughts in the comment section. I'm going to read them. I will respond as much as I possibly can. I'm going to love your comments. You're going to get a notification from YouTube. This creator loved your comment because I did. And also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Stay informed, and we can continue this conversation together. Let's jump right into it. Obviously, when you're picking jurors, their opinion of the defendant is massively impactful on which direction this goes. People think, incorrectly, that the facts and the evidence in cases is what decides cases, okay? It's not. Okay, it's not. And any good defense attorney or prosecutor will tell you the same thing. All right. The opinion that the jury has of the defendant is as impactful as any single piece of evidence, or more so, period. All right. If the jury really likes a defendant, they feel connected with them, they are way more likely to acquit them than if an innocent guy is there, but he's done a bunch of really gross stuff that you can prove he's done, then they are likely to convict him of a crime that he may have not even committed, okay? And the reason that this is incredibly relevant in the Diddy case is because he's such a public figure, right? And what the argument is going to be is the way that I'm talking about the Cassie stuff, is this voluntary, is it not, whatever. I mean, that's only one part of the case. But I want to demonstrate in a very recent example exactly what I'm talking about, because this is how I analyze everything, is how do I feel, right? And I'm sure other people feel very similar. So this is what just came out in the last couple of days, on the 25th, is that the judge is going to allow the prosecution to show the video of Diddy beating up Cassie in the hotel thing where he drags her down the hall, right? The argument from the defense to claim that it was not relevant was that it had been edited or whatever by CNN. Is a stupid argument, okay? It's a stupid argument. It's so stupid. I am very consistent. If I tell you it's dumb for them not to allow the prosecution to show, the defense to show Cassie, passionately having sex with other guys in front of Diddy, if they're trying to say, oh yeah, well, they shouldn't be allowed to see those videos if you're the prosecution because she looks too happy, that's stupid. It's equally stupid or more stupid to say it's not relevant if you have a video of Diddy beating the shit out of her and dragging her down the hall, okay? So that tape is going to be fucking damning for Diddy, okay? Damning, because guess what? Even if the case is thin, right? Even if the case is not very good, proving other things, the image itself of watching a man beat a woman, okay? And keep in mind, I'm talking about a case specifically where I'm saying that if they're trying to say he trafficked her, I think that's dumb, assuming that the tapes are the way that the defense is saying that they are, because the defense is trying to get the freak off tapes shown in court. And so if they are trying to do that, then obviously Cassie's going to be like, oh my God, yes. She's going to look very into it, is my point, right? And that seems relevant to me, but whatever. Okay, but the point I'm making here is that the fact that he's beating her up is going to make them not even hear any evidence one way or the other. They're just going to be like, this is a bad person. And thus, if you tell me he did this other thing, I am way more likely to believe it. And I'm not going to feel bad about him getting a tremendously terrible sentence. Here is the recent story that I wanted to talk about, okay? So I talked about this on another live stream, and here's why it's relevant, okay? So this is a guy named Vitali, if you can pronounce that, good luck, whatever that is, okay? He is an internet prankster who went to the Philippines and started pranking all these people in the Philippines, right? Like, just like gross stuff, man. Just an absolute prick. Okay, going around, let me see if there's any of the videos in here. He's basically like going around and he's disrespecting all of them.
Wow,
He's stealing the hat off of a police officer. He's running up on people, taking things out of their hands, and he's like, he's pushing people around. He's just being a dick, like harassing innocent people who are minding their own business in the Philippines in a really toxic, gross, sociopathic way. Okay, everybody hates these internet pranksters, right? Remember the mall guy who was harassing people, and the guy shot him, and everyone's like, good. That was everybody's response. Okay, the kid survived, but he got shot. Okay, shot with a gun. Okay, shot with a gun. And everybody loved it because he's being an asshole. So they're like, tough shit, bud. You wouldn't have gotten shot if you weren't harassing people. Okay, so Vitali is going around harassing people. Now, each of these things that he did were not that big of a deal. Okay, like if we're being totally honest here, right? They're not that big of a deal. Took a hat off of a police officer. He went and jumped on a cop's bike and was like, and starts riding it. He rides it 10 feet and then he looks back. He's like, you're not going to chase me? He's trying to get this Filipino cop to chase him, like on foot, and run after him while he's taking the bike. Idiot. Okay. Absolute idiot. Disrespectful of the culture. Very insane. I mean, I'm not sure if he was aware, but in the Philippines, you're allowed to murder drug dealers. I'm not sure if he was clear on how they handle criminals there, but very draconian to say the least. Okay. He's going to like a surf lesson and he's talking about, he's like, I'm gay. He's telling all of them he's gay. He's pretending to grab their junk. He grabs something in the mall, wears it, whatever. Like all this stuff that like each on its own is like, all right, dude, you would expect like a slap on the wrist at worst for any of the one things. Cumulatively though, it looked like he was being very disrespectful of Filipino culture because he was. And he gets arrested, and everybody hates internet pranksters, okay? Well, he's facing 35 years in prison in the Philippines. And this guy right here, okay, this is the president of the Philippines. And he is saying into that microphone in Filipino, where Vitali, this fucking idiot, is unaware, he's saying, we are not deporting him. We're going to make an example of him. He currently is in this tiny, he is in hell on earth. He is in a Filipino prison for like immigration problem, whatever. There have been videos that have come out of this place. It is rats, like sewage, the worst place you could find yourself. And that is where he is. And everybody knows it. And everybody knows he's facing 35 years. And everyone is ecstatic about it. Okay. Everyone loves it. If you go onto YouTube and you look up Vitali Philippines, you will see nothing, absolutely nothing, but videos of people dancing on his grave and laughing and being like, this is exactly what we love to see. A dude like this getting what he deserves, yada, yada, right? And I'm not going to lie, I certainly was one of those people. I was like, fuck this guy. And when I saw him going into that prison, I felt sad. I felt, good about it. It's like, that doesn't happen to you if you're not a bad person who's harassing innocent people. What are you doing? You know what I mean?
Look
what
him
the
up.
fuck are you doing
right now?
Leave them alone, you psycho. But here's the thing, right? That's a pretty heavy outcome for what he did, right? I mean, we're talking like, that's the end of his life. If he ends up in prison for 30 years, like that's the end of his life. Now, is this a good guy? No. Is he a terrible person? Yes. But like 30 years, the fact that it took me like doing heavy introspection to get myself to a place where I recognize that this guy, like, that's pretty nuts that we're all cheering for this guy to have that outcome, even if he is one of the worst people in the world. So if I can recognize that about this particular situation, right? And then I apply the exact same human nature considerations to the Diddy trial, then the fact that they're going to see that video, the Cassie video is a nail in his fucking coffin. Okay. I've been saying that all.
This YouTuber, that he's talking about, he has 10 million subscribers. That's crazy. Wow. That is crazy. This guy got 10 million subscribers and now he about to go to jail. Wow.
Along, but like this Vitali thing really brought it into focus. How damning that video is for Diddy, because it takes away the guesswork. You can have as many people as you want come into a trial and go, oh, listen, he's the worst person ever. He made me feel terrible and he blah, blah, blah. But then Diddy, people go up, they go, listen, I had nothing but great experiences with Diddy. even if you have the hundreds of people who are going to be like, he's a tyrant, he's the worst person ever, whatever, you don't know for sure. You're like, yeah, it sounds like he's a really, really bad guy. I'm 99.9% sure. You see that video, it's gone. There's no doubt. He is exactly who they're saying that he is. So the fact that this tape is getting shown in this trial is a wrap for him. I mean, honestly, I think that's the part where it's just not even going to matter what they do. He's fucked. So Diddy's claims of diminished mental capacity take center stage days before a sex trafficking trial. Diddy's legal team had to file notice by the deadline in order to introduce evidence of the effects of drug and alcohol on his memory or cognitive function, according to the prosecutors. Dude, if you are trying to build your defense around your diminished mental capacity due to drug and alcohol induced cognitive decline, you've got a serious problem, dude. You better have a better defense than that. Hey, man, listen, my deeply diminished cognitive issues are because I took so much MDMA and so much Viagra and so much of that pink, and I drank so much alcohol that you can't hold me accountable for anything that I did. You saw a 13-year-old? I didn't know she's 13. Did you hear how much of that stuff that I had put up my nose? How am I supposed to know how old she is if I'm doing that pink blow? I mean, geez. Come on, man. You can't hold me accountable for a thing like that. It's absurd. How can that be your argument? So as you would expect, the response was swift. Even if the defense had provided notice in a timely manner, the prosecution claimed Dr. Unknown's testimony was running afoul of the Insanity Defense Reform Act of 1985 and should be deemed irrelevant, prejudicial, and impermissible under the rules of evidence. So, for the record, this dude is trying to plead insanity, okay? He is actually trying to plead insanity. That is what this is telling you. While specific details of Dr. Unknown's testimony were redacted from the filing, it seems expert opinion was to be given to support whether Diddy had been lucid during the alleged sex trafficking scheme. However, the prosecution claimed that Dr. Own hadn't examined the music mogul. The government argued the expert would be used as a substitute, calling witnesses, deeming Own's proposed testimony as impermissible hearsay. Yeah, dude. What? How on earth is a doctor supposed to be able to testify as to Diddy's mental state at the time of some swinger party 10 years ago? What what is this defense? This is the dumbest thing ever. Judge Arun Subramanian ruled to allow Diddy's legal team to use swingers defense during a hearing Friday. Well, that's because it should be. There's a lifestyle, call it swingers or whatever you will, that he thought was appropriate because it was common, Mark Agnifilo said at Friday's hearing. Many people think it's appropriate because it's common. The federal judge noted Combs' team could not name other high-profile individuals who engage in the lifestyle as an example. That's because they do it in private, you goof. Jeez, that's so dumb. Okay, authorities allege Diddy ran a criminal enterprise through his businesses, including Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprise, Combs Global, among others. He used firearms, threats of violence, coercion, verbal, emotional abuse, physical abuse to fulfill his sexual desires, according to the prosecutors. He was originally charged with racketeering. We all know this, okay? So this dude is claiming insanity. Okay, prosecutors added 2 new charges against Diddy on April 13th, or April 3rd, superseding indictment after federal prosecutors claimed the rapper engaged in sex trafficking a female victim as recently as 2024. He was accused of transferring the woman referred to as victim number 2, along with sex workers across state lines to engage in prostitution between 2021 and 2024. I mean, that might just be an escort. I mean, it's, again, we're going to find out a lot when we get into the actual trial. Now, let's look real quick at some of the stuff that they are going to ask the jurors, right? So potential jurors in the Diddy's federal trial are going to get grilled on several subjects before they get picked. And the hot topics include their taste in music, their views on drugs, celebs, and group sex. With jury selection just a week away for Diddy's trial, his attorneys are submitting the 30 questions they want to put to the jury pool. Not shockingly, considering the charges, sex is raised several times. Yeah. For instance, there may be evidence in this case about people engaging in sexual relations with multiple sexual partners. Would hearing about that type of evidence be difficult for you? If anybody says yes to that, you exclude that juror, okay? Follow-up question covers evidence that people cheated on...
My bad. Y'all had to... Uncle Mike broke the glass, man. I broke the glass on the table so they can replace the glass. So they had to measure it. Here we go.
To that, you exclude that juror, okay? Follow-up question covers evidence that people cheated on girlfriends or boyfriends. And by the way, this is Cassie and Alex, okay? Now, I, again, mean no disrespect here at all. Like none whatsoever. She's a beautiful girl. He looks like he's a fun dude. But I saw pictures of them early on in their relationship, and then I saw some later pictures of them. And if I had to make a guess, and I am completely hypothesizing, I have no evidence of this whatsoever, but I would, and I'm not, but I'm also not making this up.
Here we go.
I think that Cassie may have introduced him to the lifestyle because in a couple pictures, they look whacked. Like they look whacked out like, we have so much dopamine running through our body right now that I can't really explain it. And she is very familiar with how fun it is to have sex on lots and lots of drugs. And that is that's one of those like pieces of forbidden knowledge that it's like, once you know, you don't unknow. Okay. Like girls are not born knowing that they can enhance themselves to a place where they will enjoy having sex for 10 straight hours. Okay. Just one of those things, but they can't unknow it once they know it, you know? And so they can get sober, but let's say hypothetically that they started using drugs again for one reason or another. Okay. There is going to be a desire to be having sex for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours right behind the drug use because that's their routine. And it's going to be, it's like a mental pathway that gets built. You know what I mean? Like a person could use drugs forever and never get into any kind of routine of just like, you know, like hedonistic, like drugged out sex or whatever. But once you build that neural pathway, guess what? Start using drugs. The neural pathway opens up and it's like, you know what I would love to do is have you, my man, pound this for hours and 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 hours, 2 days, 3 days. And you know what would be really fun is if you want to watch me with another guy. I'm just saying, something I've done before. If you're into it, I mean, I don't want to do it. I'm not into other guys. I'm only into it if you're into it, my man. But again, that is a hypothesis because he looks like he may be on drugs right here.
And I'm trying to figure out what difference does it make. They married. This is what they want to do in their house. And they millionaires. This is what they want to do with each other. And I'm trying to figure out what the hell is your point? Okay, if Cassie introduced her to something that this is part of my life. I've been hooked on caffeine. So that means I need coffee every time I wake up. Okay, I don't drink coffee, but now we both learning how to drink coffee. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what difference does it make if that's how they want to live it? What are you talking about, bruh?
The guys, I'm only into it if you're into it, my man. But again, that is a hypothesis because he looks like he may be on drugs right here. And she looks like she is thinking about having sex with him for 12 hours or maybe even another dude while he watches. As we've reported, Diddy has maintained that the Cassie hotel beating video was the tail end of them arguing about him allegedly cheating on her. And he's claimed she cheated on him with her now husband, Alex Fine. Oh, poor Diddy, dude. Oh, poor Diddy, dude. Fuck you, guy. Even if she cheated on you, you still don't get to beat up women, motherfucker. And that tape right there is your undoing. You are going to go to prison because of that. Diddy's fame will also be center stage with potential jurors. One question asks, do you believe that wealthy people get away with things that the less wealthy do not? If they say yes to that, they are telling the truth. You know? Anyone who says no to that is retarded. Like that's just you're just an idiot if you say no to that. This is not even a question. Okay, that's not like a yes or no. Do you think? It's like hey, do you think that if that guy who just got life in prison for the case that he, the murder, do you think he had a better chance of getting away with it if he had $2 million to pay an attorney to represent him? Like that's 1 plus, does 1 plus 1 equal 2?
20 million.
Does 1 plus 1 equal 2? Yes or no? It's like, I think it does. It's like, yeah, it does. Okay. Wealthy people definitely get away with things that poor people do not because they can't pay for an attorney, much less the fact that a prosecutor looking at a case is going to know, okay, well, this guy, this wealthy guy, we know we're going to be up against a really heavy defense team. We don't like losing. So we could either try this one, or we could take on this incredibly challenging defense team that's going to make us work our balls off and we might lose. Like, come on, dude. This is not, and that's not even getting into where wealthy people have friends who can make things go away. Give me a fucking break. Anybody who says no to that, do you believe that wealthy people get away with things that less wealthy do not? If you say no, if you're watching this and you say no to that, bruh, you are in a world that doesn't exist. Okay. His attorneys also plan to ask what kind of music prospective jurors listen to and if they have opinions about hip hop, rap music industry, or artists in general. That's a good question. Naturally, drug use will be part of the questioning. Do you have any personal experiences or opinions about drug and alcohol use or addiction? Great questions, honestly. Prosecutors are opposing the defense effort to have a psychiatrist testify about so we already talked about that. Now, the last thing that I wanted to talk about is about what the prosecution is asking the jurors, because if you have not heard me talk about that, this is really relevant, okay? They are asking the jurors whether or not they watch the show CSI Special Victims Unit. Why is that important? Well, let me ask you guys in advance. Put in the you don't have to put in the comments because I'm going to tell you right now, okay? The reason they're asking that is if people watch CSI Special Victims Unit, they will definitely want them on the trial, or they're going to want them on the jury. And the reason for that is because if they consistently watch that show, then they have been fed propaganda over and over and over about how when there is a sexual assault or any kind of a trial involving that topic, the prosecution is always the good guys. They're always the good guys. They are always the good guys. And the bad guy, it's always a rich guy who's going to try to get away with it. And they're going to, but they're always the bad guy. Okay. They're always the bad guy. Conditioning. Okay. So that is why they're asking that question. There's no conversation here. That is exactly why they are asking that question. And it's smart. It's really smart, So if you want to get on the jury, I would say, well, I don't know actually, because if I'm the defense and someone says, yeah, I love CSI, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here then. Okay. You go find another trial to get on and you can write a book about that, because I already know you're going to say guilty because you have watched a billion cases where the bad guy in your show was Diddy or someone like him and he was always guilty. But like I said, that video getting allowed is absolutely damning.
Yeah, I think Diddy is cooked, man, from day one, man. Diddy has been cooked from day one. Diddy has been cooked from day one, man. When they denied him bail the first time, I said, man, somebody is after this dude. I'm talking straight up blood. Some big time person is got their claws into Diddy so deeply, he can't get out. They teaching him a lesson, man. There's some big liquor people that's in the liquor and he sued them or whatever. Yeah. Same thing with Shannon Sharpe, man. There's some people that ain't standing for this stuff no more, man. And Diddy, I don't know. They saying that Diddy at Shannon, y'all got some videos out there, man, that's showing y'all doing some stuff you ain't had no business doing. Diddy too, man. We ain't seen all the videos. They got more videos of Diddy doing something he ain't had no business doing to Cassie. They got more videos of Diddy, 90 terabytes worth of data. And you think they ain't got nothing? We ain't named that one person And we got what, less than 10 days or something? I done lost count. Trial will start on the 12th or the 15th. Anyway, we counting down, man. Y'all take it light. It's Uncle Mike's birthday. It's my birthday, baby. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Y'all tell him Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.